Costa Rica is located on the Central American Isthmus, surrounding the point 10° north of the equator and 84° west of the prime meridian. It borders both the Caribbean Sea and the North Pacific Ocean, with a total of 1,290 kilometers of coastline. Costa Rica shares a border with Nicaragua to the north and with Panama to the south. The area of Costa Rica is 51,100 km², of which 51,060 km² is land and 40 km² is water, making it slightly smaller than the U.S. state of West Virginia. Physical geography. The nation's terrain is a coastal plain separated by rugged mountains, the Cordillera Central and the Cordillera De Talamanca, which form the spine of the country and separate the Pacific and Caribbean watersheds. Costa Rica claims an exclusive economic zone of 200 nautical miles and a territorial sea of 12 nautical miles. The spine of the country produces many major river systems. Rivers draining into the Caribbean include Colorado River, Pacaya River, Riventaza North River, Riventaza North River, Suxala River. Rivers draining into the Lake Nicaragua or the San Juan River, whose waters eventually drains into the Caribbean, include Sapo River, Frao River, San Carlos River, Sarapica River. Rivers draining into the Pacific Ocean include Abanguez River, Guasimo River, Suapi River, Tempisque River, Tar Copyrighter Raba River. In the eastern half of the country, the San Juan River forms the northern border with Nicaragua. Mountain ranges Cordillera de Talamanca. The Talaran Range is part of the continental divide east of Lake Arnal and the nearby active volcano Arnal, and running into the Cordillera Central Range further east. It is located in the Abanguez district of the province of Guanacaste. At the edge of the range is the Monteverde Cloud Forest Preserve, a major ecotourism destination. Cordillera Centro. The Central Range continues the continental divide east of Cordillera de Talamanca. It has four large volcanoes, Poes, Bava, Eraser and Turriaba. The highest peak is Eraser at 3,432 m. Cordillera de Guanacaste. The Guanacaste Range is in northern Costa Rica near the border with Nicaragua. The range forms part of the southern region of the Continental Divide, the highest peak being the extinct stratovolcano Moravels at 2,028 m. Peaks include Tenorio Volcano, Moravels Volcano, Arosa Volcano, Rinco de la Villa Volcano, Arnal Volcano. Cordillera de Talamanca. Much of the Talamanca Range is included in the La Amistad International Park, which is shared between Costa Rica and Panama. The country's highest peaks lie in this mountain range, the Cerro Churripó and the Cerro Camc. Much of the region is covered by the forest. Cerros de Escazú. The Cerros de Escazú borders the Central Valley to the south and is considered the northernmost portion of the Cordillera de Talamanca. Climate. Costa Rica has a tropical and subtropical climate and is part of the Neotropic ecozone. It is part of many ecoregions, including Costa Rican seasonal moist forests, Bocas del Toro San Bastimentos Island San Blas mangroves, Mosquishua Nicaraguan Caribbean coast mangroves, southern dry Pacific coast mangroves, Central American dry forests, and Talamancan montane forests. An inlet from the Pacific. The Gulf of Nicoya contains several small islands, the largest of these being Caira Island with a population of around 4,000. Costa Rica's dry season in most places is from December to April, while the rainy season is from May to November. On the Caribbean coast, however, December is by far the wettest month. The highlands areas are always cooler. The lowest elevation levels in the country are on the western and eastern coasts, at sea level. The highest point is Cerro Churripó, a volcanic mountain with an elevation of 3,810 m. On a clear day, it is possible to see both the Caribbean and the Pacific from the peak. Ecology. Like all Central American countries, Costa Rica is considered part of a biodiversity hotspot. According to the INBio, about 4.5% of the world's biodiversity can be found in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is home to about 12,119 species of plants, of which 950 are endemic. There are 117 native trees and more than 1,400 types of orchids, a third of them can be found in the Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve. Almost a half of the country's land is covered by forests, though only 3.5% is covered by primary forests. Deforestation is a devastating process, with more than 8,100 ha of forest being lost annually. The main reason for such high deforestation levels is to make plains for cattle ranching. Wildlife diversity is very high. There are 441 species of amphibians and reptiles, 838 species of birds, 232 species of mammals and 181 species of freshwater fish. Costa Rica has high levels of endemism. 81 species of amphibians and reptiles, 17 species of birds and 7 species of mammals are endemic to the country. However, many species are endangered. According to the World Conservation Monitoring Center, 209 species of birds, mammals, reptiles, amphibians and plants are endangered. Some of the country's most endangered species are the harpy eagle, the giant andeca, the golden toad and the jaguar. IUCN reports the golden toad as extinct. Protected areas. The country is noted for its national park system, administered by SINAC. This agency oversees the 26 national park, and more than 160 protected areas in Costa Rica. The other types of protected areas in Costa Rica are national wildlife refuges, biological reserves, protection zones, and absolute nature reserves. Together the protected areas comprise over one-fourth of Costa Rican territory. 9.3% of the country is protected under IUCN categories IV. Tortuguera National Park The creation of the Tortuguera National Park in 1970 gave much-needed protection to one of the region's most important and unique natural resources, a 22 km stretch of shoreline that serves as the principal nesting site for sea turtles. Environmental issues include deforestation, largely a result of the clearing of land for cattle ranching. Soil erosion. Coastal marine pollution. Fisheries protection. Solid waste management. And air pollution. Deforestation Deforestation in Costa Rica has a serious impact upon the environment. Since the end of World War II, approximately 80% of the forests of Costa Rica have disappeared. Approximately 20,000 acres of land are deforested annually. In the 1990s the country had one of the worst deforestation rates in Central America. As the population grew, the people of Costa Rica cut down the forests to provide for pasture land for cattle ranching to produce beef for the world market to raise revenue. Since the 1950s, approximately 60% of Costa Rica has been cleared to make room for cattle ranching. Over half of Costa Rica's existing forest cover today is under the protection of national parks, biological reserves, or wildlife refuges. A major problem in regards to deforestation is the privately owned plots which occupy the other half of the forested land. Lenient laws on land and amendments to forestry law makes it easy to obtain logging concessions as owners exploit the land to maximize income. Environmental treaties Costa Rica is party to many environmental treaties, including the Convention on Biological Diversity, the Convention on Environmental Modification, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the Montreal Protocol, the Ramsar Convention, the International Convention for the Regulation of Whaling, the Desertification Convention, the Endangered Species Convention, the Basel Convention, the Convention on the Law of the Sea, the Convention on Marine Dumping, the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. It has signed but not ratified the Convention on Marine Life Conservation and the Kyoto Protocol. Geography. Area total, 51,100 square kilometers. Land, 50,660 square kilometers, water, 440 square kilometers. Land boundaries total, 661 kilometers, border countries, Nicaragua 313 kilometers, Panama 348 kilometers. Coastline 1,290 kilometers. Maritime claims territorial sea, 12 mi. Exclusive Economic Zone, 200 mi, Continental shelf, 200 mi. Climate equals, tropical and subtropical. Dry season. Rainy season. Cooler in highlands. It is said there are 15 different climates in a day. Terrain equals, coastal plains separated by rugged mountains including over 100 volcanic cones, of which several are major volcanoes. Elevation extremes equals, lowest point, Pacific Ocean 0m, highest point, Cerro Chirripó 3810 m. Natural resources equals, hydropower from Lake Arnal, the largest lake in Costa Rica. Land use equals, arable land, 4.8%, permanent crops, 6.66%, other, 88.54%. Irrigated land equals, 1031 km squared. Total renewable water resources equals, 112.4 km cubed. Freshwater withdrawal equals, total, 5.77 km cubed year, per capita, 1,582 m cubed year. Natural hazards equals, occasional earthquakes, hurricanes along Atlantic coast. Frequent flooding of lowlands at onset of rainy season and landslides. Active volcanoes. See also, Costa Rica, list of earthquakes in Costa Rica, list of faults in Costa Rica. References. External links, map of the Republic of Costa Rica from 1891, Costa Rica is another historic map.